people, prepare for a doozy of a long segment. I probably had longer segments than this, but I usually try and keep my segments about a little bit in the range of 12 to 25 minutes. This one had to be a little bit longer because there was a problem with pacing. What happened was, you start off the day, it's like, oh hey, you're one of the finalists in this really weirdly set up tournament. Okay. And Aster's being all Aster. And I think I was just looking around here because I was supposed to be able to go all the way up. But I think I had to... Oh yeah, that's right, I had to find something first. I believe it was Cyrus. Which is so weird. I mean, how the heck does the game expect you to do it? I mean, sure, you get a free endless night, and whenever you try and go to bed, you say something's not right. But, I mean, still, it's kind of cryptic sounding to me. So, what happens is you're supposed to duel Zane in a kind of different manner than what you would think. Oh yeah, that's right, I had to look online to see, and this guy said you had to talk to Alexis at one point, so if you haven't, go to it now. Of course, that's me paraphrasing it because I actually didn't know you had to go talk to Alexis. If you've talked to Alexis, you just have to go to Cyrus, but you do have to talk to Alexis to get that message, and then Cyrus will go through this event. And the music changes because you're about to fight Zane, except differently. First off, you're fighting another volcano. Second off, he's the hardest duelist in the game. Like, last time I said he was a pretty good duelist, but yeah, meet Dark Zane. Yes, they actually went as far as this in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX canon. Like, good grief. I couldn't believe it whenever I saw one of the last events in the game was Dueling Dark Zane. Meaning, his two specialty cards, which are Cyber Dark Dragon and Chimera Tech Over Dragon, are here. He starts off only using his Chimera Tech deck. And my goodness, I've won this only through luck. I mean, you just gotta watch this. I have Dimension Wall. I'm thinking, okay, well, if he sends out his card, then I can at least do that. I could go the route of, actually, I don't know what I could go the route of. So yeah, he does all this, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, I can survive without a Cherry Beans, man. He doesn't quite pull off the strategy yet, but this strategy has got to be the single scariest thing you can come up against in this game. Not to mention, in the aftergame, because spoilers, there's an aftergame, what happens is, you can duel Dark Zane. In fact, I end off the last part, which I've already got recorded. Not quite edited yet, but, you know how much time it takes me to do that. Because you can find him in the after game, and at first I thought you could only find him on the weekends. No, you can find him every night. You have to be, like, pretty much at the end of the night, too. You can find him every night, and he's always in a shadow duel. Like, you can reduel, spoilers, pretty much every single Shadow Rider, Kagemaru, Genzo's still Shadow Duels, but that's more of an exception than a rule. I think Titan's still Shadow Duel, I don't remember. But yeah, most of them aren't Shadow Duels anymore. Like, I accidentally found Abydos in the last part, and he wasn't a Shadow Duel. Duel Kagemaru, he's not Shadow Duels anymore, thank goodness. But yeah, this is the strategy he uses. Future Fusion to fuse together Chimera Tech Over Dragon. But if he continued through, the problem is Chimera Tech Over Dragon gets rid of every single card on his side of the field. Which means, since Future Fusion's gone, it would be gone. What ends up happening is he gets it through using Overload Fusion, which is scary enough in itself, and then I was only able to get a victory by because I used Dimension Wall, which is now one of my favorite cards ever. Nope, nobody will ever tell me different. Seriously, it's not even. It's like they're not even trying to get it limited or semi-limited or forbidden. No, it's just it's so open. I mean, that's why I think a whole lot of the continuous trap cards or continuous spell cards are so broken. It's because they're so good, but they aren't limited, and it's really hard to get rid of them. So I don't understand what the heck the people that arranged the meta were thinking. But I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! The meta changes like every 2 years. I should know. I remember somebody commented on one of my video parts that they should make an iPod Touch Yu-Gi-Oh game, and I was like, yes, I've thought about this too. That would be a really cool idea. Here's the problem: I haven't kept up with the generations ever since 5Ds came out, so I don't really know synchro summoning, and then there's the Zexal thing, like what is that called? Something along the lines of what XYZ summoning? I don't know. So I mean, I was thinking, well, they could, but the generations aren't as well defined as in, say, the DS games or the console games, where it's clearly shown which cards are there and which cards haven't just aren't existed yet. So you're limited to these cards. So I think the problem would be they'd have to create like 4 different tiers, like the original game, the GX series, the that, and so on and so forth. And yeah, now time to transition poorly. Oh hey, look, it's Aster. Anyway, yeah. As for Aster, I'm really surprised how much easier he is than I remembered. Like, his Destiny Hero deck isn't the best, and I can explain why in one word. Um, well, actually, no, not one word. And I can actually explain why whenever I look at the game that comes after this, World Championship 2007. He doesn't have a lot of the really, really good Destiny Hero cards. And he's only limited to the Dreadmaster strategy, which personally I don't think is the best. It can work. I mean, that's definitely how he's won a few duels in both the anime, and he hasn't really gotten it to work against me. But definitely in the anime, he was able to get that to work. And I was kind of afraid because he used the Destiny Hero version of Skyscraper, and he somehow didn't destroy my Force of Black Flame Dragon, level 6. So I mean, for example, the 2 cards that come afterwards are Destiny Hero Dogma, which is really freaking scary, because it, like, I don't know, halves attack or something like that. I can't remember, it's been a while, but it's special summon by getting rid of 3 Destiny Hero cards. It has 3,200 attack points, and it's just an all-around scary card to deal with. You have to get rid of it by effects, more or less. I don't remember everything about, but that's one of the good cards. And then there's... oh jeez, I can't even remember this guy's name. I remember that originally it was like B apostrophe L-O-O-D to represent blood, but I believe they had the card name changed since then. Whatever, the point is, now I'm dueling Astro Phoenix, and he's not that hard. I'm surprised they could shoehorn in all of the Destiny Hero cards at the very end of the game. And then, forget some other cards. I don't remember which ones exactly. But yeah, I must say, the 2 duels, since this is a match duel with Aster, which is why the part's so long, because I have 5 duels. All of them were kind of one-sided and not that exciting and all that fun stuff, but I was still trying. I'm trying to think, do I actually get to summon Dark Paladin? I don't remember. Looks like I do. And kind of a little bit of a side note, I love Dark Paladin now. It is just such a useful card. It has pretty much everything I like about fusions. Slightly higher attack, and when you combine fusion monsters, you get both the effects. In fact, in this case, you actually get an extra effect, since Dark Magician doesn't have an effect, but not only do you get Buster Blader's effect even stronger, but you also get an added effect that, to get rid of a card in your hand, you can stop a spell card from being used, and that has come in handy a lot. Especially in the aftergame, where pretty much everybody uses those really cheap spell cards that I've just come to hate now. Sorry if my voice isn't doing the best. Had a bit of trouble with the sore throat. Been trying my best, Zyrtec and all that. I mean, can you really tell the difference? My voice is naturally deep anyway. I think here I was just kind of looking through my deck, seeing, what all I had, and I also showed that I actually have Dark Magician. No, wait, I think I saw there I didn't have Dark Magician in my deck, like an actual copy of the Dark Magician card. So I was like, okay, so I've only been lucky so far with getting the fusion of Dark Paladin to work, since I pretty much always need King of the Swamp then. But yeah, both of the duels, sadly, weren't that special. They both kind of played out the same. I used the same strategy, same card, same result. I believe it was only the second duel with Jaden that there was actually a chance he might have done something, because I will say this, Jaden gave me the most trouble out of Aster and Jaden. Yeah. Because his deck is actually well made. It's a Elemental Hero fusion deck, like all of his others. It is, he has a lot of good cards. He can top deck you to no end. It takes very few cards to get a good strategy working on his side. If you don't have counters, you are dead, pretty much. So, yeah, I think I've gone through most of what I can for this little part. I want to try and clear my throat real quick to see if that will help with how my voice sounds right now. So, sorry if this is very unprofessional, but hey, I don't care about professionalism. I use Windows Movie Maker as my main thing, for Pete's sake. Just give me a second. Well, hopefully I sound a whole lot better now. I had this weird thing happen to me this morning. Today was my first day off school for winter break. Finally got through all those exams, although I didn't really have an exam in one class, and I only have 4 classes, but that's still a lot of exams for anybody. So, I finally get to sleep in today, and the amazing thing is I'm on such a sleep deficit during school, since my school starts so early at 7:15, that I can now safely say I can sleep in till 10 easily, consistently. Like, I remember one weekend I was able to sleep for 11.5 hours, so I can definitely say I need more sleep, but, I mean, I try. That's all just background information. My point is, I was able to sleep in, and the thing is, I kind of wake up periodically the first couple days after school, and I remember waking up periodically just this morning, and thinking, um, why does my nose feel so wet? I'm thinking, oh no, is this a bloody nose? I would be having a bloody nose right now, but, I pinch my nose like I always do when I have a bloody nose, because I've had these a bit too often. Just go through the motions on how I would deal with a bloody nose, and sure enough it was. I have no clue why it happened, but that gave me a whole lot of congestion, and not to mention the sore throat thing. All that congestion's still there. I think the Zyrtec's finally kicking in, so definitely feeling that. Oh yeah, I remember the second Aster duel is actually a pretty interesting duel as well. Because oh yeah, that's right, he couldn't use the effect. Sorry, I thought for a second that for some reason he could have used an effect to get rid of Horse of Black Flame Dragon, but sadly that couldn't work since he has to tribute a monster. He would increase his attack points by 1,000 and just win. But yeah, since I wouldn't really have a counter to Destiny Hero Dasher, that would have allowed me to win easily. Like, it does go in defense mode for some reason. But I mean, it is a pretty good card, so I can understand why they have to stunt it somehow. And here I just finished off the duel using Creature Swap, which is definitely gotta be one of my favorite cards because of how broken it is. Even semi-limited, it's still pretty broken. And with that, I won the match. Yeah, it only took me 2 tries to beat Aster, but it took me, this is an amazing amount more, 3 tries to beat Jaden. And yes, I am kind of a wimp, and I save in between the 2 match duels. And Aster's all like, but I'm a professional. Shut up. Holy cow, no, I don't like you. And then Jane and Alexis duel, but we all know who's gonna win. I mean, one of them's a protagonist, one of them's just kind of a minor character. And, you know, Alexis keeps, I'll beat you next time, Gadget. And Jane's just like, game on. So, yeah, I go ahead and save in between, and it was a good thing too, because like I said, I lost to Jane twice, because he top decked me pretty badly. But, yeah, I think I'm starting to run out of things to talk about. Which is why I brought a list prepared of just stuff I can ramble on about. Now that I'm finally out of school, I actually have time to play video games, like, for more than 30 minutes at a time. And that's me being generous, too, with my time. So, yeah, I've finally gone back into playing the Sly Cooper trilogy. I just started on 1 yesterday. And quick thoughts about the whole trilogy. I love the whole trilogy. I mean, my sister got me for Christmas one year, and I was wondering about, I mean, there was a cool raccoon on the cover, but, I mean, you never know. So, naturally, I was a bit sketchy, but I ended up loving the gameplay. And I eventually got the sequels, Sly 2, and then Sly 3. I don't remember the subtitles. And, I mean, I especially got on my mind whenever I saw they were finally coming out with Sly 4 for the PS3, which I'm sad about because I don't own a PS3, I just have my PS2. So it looks good, and I decided to go back and replay them. I will say this, I have a bit of an interesting opinion on 1s, 2, and 3. I don't know how other fans of the series looks at it, but I think 2 was the best because it expanded the gameplay so much, and it's just so fun to replay. The problem is you have to replay it from the beginning each time, and you can't go back to stages, and there's a lot of problems with that. But still, in the end, you have a really good gameplay, a lot of stuff to go back and do, a lot of the really nice little nuggets of gameplay. Not to mention, I love the story, I love the villains. And then 3 came next because even though it did do a whole lot of things correct, the villains were definitely a bit for me, and you know, there are some other nitpicks I could go on about, but it was still a really good game, and I definitely enjoy replaying it. Just not as much as 2. And then 1 was the worst. I say that because I still love playing 1. It's just, I never really got into the whole minigame aspect of it. Some of them were just plain annoying. And then there was, oh yeah, the whole collectionist thing. Yeah, I mean, whenever I got Sly Cooper, I wasn't much of a dedicated hardcore gamer, whatever the heck you want to call it. So, unsurprisingly, I was a bit shocked to see I had to get everything and not just a few things to fully beat the game, but hey, it made a gamer out of me, so I can't complain there. It's just, it had a completely different style of gameplay than the first two, which is not bad, it's just a bit different to go back to. Now, let me continue rambling on since this tool is still kind of boring and repetitive and easy to see what the heck's gonna happen. Oh yeah, that's right. Placed I placed it in defense mode in case Jane had a trap card, which does happen a whole lot more often than you would think. So that's why I did that. That's all. Let's see, what other games do I play for fun? Believe it or not, I play this game for fun. Now that I'm in the after game and I've recorded absolutely everything I have to for the everything I wanted to record for the after game. I've gotta say, I'm surprised on how much fun I'm having. I mean, there are times where I get burned out, such as in I keep on redueling Chaz and he's not registering me, even though I have the registering spirit of all things. Then there's times where I duel somebody with a shadow duel and I lose all the progress I had in those days. There's times where I'm trying to do one specific thing and everything in the world that I've wanted to do before pops up except the thing I wanted to. I mean, it's still overall a good game to play, just kind of for fun. You can do a lot of things. You can gain a lot of things. You can do a lot of more duels than you could right before this. So, yeah, I mean, that was. This is another little aspect that this game did better than Duel Academy. Yet another aspect. Because, in Duel Academy, once you reach King of Games status and you unlock Chancellor Shepard, you already have all the cards. You've already dueled every single person in the game and beaten them 10 times. You are just burnt to cinders, quoting Pokemon 4th Gen of all things. You're just burnt to cinders with playing the game, and you're just done by that point. So, it's nice to see that in this game. You have a whole lot more options. You have everything open to you. The packs that you unlock at the times where you finish the main game and levels 22, 24, 26, and 28 will get you, and I've bought them all too and seen the card list, 96% of every single card in the game. So, I'm gonna have to look up other cards to see what exactly I'm missing, but I mean, hey, that's a pretty big opener if you have a cheat code to let you level up instantly like I do. And you have every single card that you really wanted finally open to you. I mean, good grief, it's insane the cards they've kept from you by now. I mean, you don't even get the Armed Dragon series for a while, even until the after game, really. Now, as I was saying, this duel was interesting because it went, it went over a bit differently than I expected. Because he had Skyscraper and that could put a damper on my strategies. But, I mean, he ends up not having any cards. Like, if he fused something together, I would be done for. And I see I'm nearing the end of this, so let's see if I can continue through. I mean, oh yeah, that's right. And now I finally have the Dark Magician card in my deck. I have the really nice, I believe his name was Arcanus. I have the really nice Arcana version of Dark Magician. I like its design a whole lot better. I like its card design a whole lot better. I just think it's an all-around nicer looking card. I mean, a friend of mine had to show me this, but if you look in the background, the backgrounds of these cards are just about as great looking as the cards themselves. So, whenever you have a different looking version of the exact same card, it's really nice. Not to mention the designers of this game are actually really nice with the card designs. I mean, sure, they forgot to, say, add the veins on Titan, but they do remember the Kagemaru differences. And in this game, they actually have different sprites. At least I hope I'm remembering correctly. They have different sprites for the two different versions of Dark Magician. Since Dark Magician is one of those epic cards that has a little intro when you summon it, it is really nice to see that little touch. And oh yeah, I win the game. Oh yeah, that's right, I remember the second duel I thought was going to be a horrible one. It ended up being a 5-turn duel. Like, good grief. I didn't even expect that to happen. But yeah, I'm just a little bit away from achieving level 22, and I am the champion. I'm not the king of games, but I am the champion. And then Aster finally has this nice little reprise where he's like, okay, fine, you're a good duelist. I'll stay here a while just because I didn't know there were people good on this island. And Shepard has a little bit of a speech. There's not a lot of humor in this game, but whenever it does have humor, it's nice to see, like, I mean, seriously, could you imagine an upperclassman losing to a freshman? And then I remember, oh yeah, that's right, this is one of the games I played that actually has, like, a little thing to do in the end. Like, instead of just watching the credits. That's really cool. I mean, that's why I really like Punch-Out Wii, a game I've also been playing a lot recently. Because it has this just neat little mini game just to, pick up and play and pass the time. Not quite sure what cards it chooses for this little game. I'm not sure if it's set cards. I'm not sure if it's based on your decks, your recipes, but it's still a nice little addition. I mean, it really passes the time, too. It's surprising how quickly the credits go. So, overall thoughts on this game. Considering I've done that throughout this whole Let's Play that went on way too long, I think people know my general thoughts on the game. Well, really more my specific thoughts on the game. And you gotta say, this game is still holding up well. I still say Duels of the Roses is better. That's another game I've been playing a lot recently, but I've talked enough about it. But I mean, for the GX generation, this is definitely my favorite. Sorry guys, suppress a cough there. You don't really want to hear that. And the cards are good. It follows the anime well. You have a lot of really cool extra stuff. The card system kind of sucks because it costs a lot of money to get cards. But, I mean, the game is just overall set up better than, say, Duel Academy. And with that, I think I just finished off this part. I still have another part to go, where I just show you the title screen. And with that, we have completed this game, almost. See you for the epilogue.